Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm your host, Ian Carlos Crawford.
And I'm Zachary, Patton, Garcia. And today we've got two of our favorites. We've got Slayerfest 98 editor,
Ashley Hullett.
Hi, Ashley.
And
Hello.
writer and horror fan,
Penelope.
Hi, Penelope.
Oh.
I feel like you and I have been like mutuals for a while on Twitter. So I was like, I got to have her on because I feel like we like all the same shit.
I was going to beg you to put me on Harm's Way, but that's like so far down the road.
I think a lot of people have requested that because I feel like a lot of us love Harmony.
It's such a good episode. And I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I just like that she actually gets character development in this.
Right?
Yeah.
But so this is your first time joining us. So you haven't been on for a Buffy episode either. What's your Buffy origin and how did you come to Angel?
I remember watching Buffy when I was younger, just like a few episodes here and there. And when I got older, I think when I was around like 18 or 19, I just kind of like sat down and watched every season and I got really into it. And I just like fell in love with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now I just watch it like all the time. Even when I'm sitting at home or reading or something, I'll just have like Buffy or Angel in the background.
I was gonna say, I feel like I see you like randomly live tweet episodes like
yeah, I do that. I do that like it's a yearly, monthly thing.
And Ashley, I realized you were on for Buffy episode, but we didn't get your origin, did we?
I guess no, we didn't. But I did my Angel origin in the video intros that we did.
We wanna repeat and give us your Buffy origin and tell us a little bit how you came to Angel?
Sure. I came to Buffy when I was 9 because my friend's family watched it like all as it was like their family show. And I happened to be at their house one night and caught, it was Homecoming was the first episode that I saw. And I was immediately banned from watching it at my house. My parents were like, absolutely not. But lucky for me, I'm good at cracking the parental code on the parental controls that we used. And so I just snuck and watched it anyway.
I love that.
Yeah. By the time, because that was season 3. And so it wasn't until season 6 before my mom was like, fuck it, just watch it. And so season 6 was the first season that I watched like legitimately on air.
Oh my God.
And then I just went straight into Angel after, but I didn't finish it because once Buffy ended, I was just like, well, I'm done with this. I'm so upset. And so I never went back and finished it. And I had convinced myself that I stopped in season 3. But then I bought all of the seasons and did like a watch through and realized that I watched all of it except for season 5. And so then I was like mad at my younger self. Like, you had 1 season left.
It's so funny that your mom said fuck it at season 6 when that's arguably
right?
like
if she had only knew
one of the darkest and raunchiest.
I remember going to the CD store in the mall and getting the Once More with Feeling soundtrack.
I'm pretty sure I did the same thing. Yeah, I think I went to like Sam Goody or whatever, but I was like very excited for that soundtrack.
Yes.
So we're here to discuss the Angel season 1 episode, Expecting. And Zach, you wanted to do this episode, right?
I just wanted to do any of the Cordy episodes. I remembered this one like vaguely. There was a lot more to it than what I actually remembered. It's just her episodes just shine, right? And they always stick out. So it's always fun to do a Cordy episode. But this is dark,
right? Zach, what did you feel about the episode overall after you like fully watched it?
I thought it was one of the better ones, honestly. I think they stick to the plot really well.
Yeah,
they don't really like dip in and out of it, which is what kind of drains the energy out of me when I'm watching Angel. And then they have like all of these B plots and they keep going to like Kate and all these different things. But this was like pretty straightforward. They stayed on track and it went by pretty fast. It felt like a 30-minute episode, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny. When I was watching it, because I was screen recording to like screenshot stuff, I was like, wait, this can't be the end already. And I was like, oh, it is. Yeah, Penelope, what do you think of this episode overall?
I really like this episode. I think it shows, in my opinion, it kind of shows when Angel starts to have feelings for Cordelia.
Right. Their chemistry was so good in this episode. And
I think it was like the episode, not right before it, but the one before that one where she kisses him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he like doesn't even push her off. You know, but when she tells him that she's like going to go on a date, he gets like jealous.
Yeah.
And that's like the first time we see him actually, like, we see his feelings for Cordelia that are like apart from his grief from the Doyle death, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Ashley, what do you think of this episode overall?
Oh, I'm going to be the bummer.
That's okay.
I agree with Zach. I think the writing, like it does stick to it, and it's very like cut and dry, like beginning to end, mystery solved. But I just hate it.
That's totally fair. I do feel like it's weird. I remembered hating this episode, but I didn't. I actually felt the way Zach felt when I watched it this time around for the recording, and it really is weird how like all of us have watched all of these things like so many times, but it like sometimes you can feel differently, right? Like, like I think I said this a lot during season 7, how like every time I've watched Buffy season 7, I've felt differently about who is being the bigger asshole of like the group. And it really just depends on like, I guess like where I am mentally or like what my mood is. Cause this time I like was like, oh, I guess also going through Angel, like Zach said, it's like these episodes have been rough and this felt less rough.
It's also watching something out of enjoyment, right? You're not really looking at it to critique it. You know, I don't remember any of these episodes ever having a problem with like any of them until I started coming onto your damn show and I have to figure out something that I don't like about it, right? And this episode is not just I think it goes by pretty quick. It's not horrible, but I think it's the subject matter, right? That kind of gives me the willies.
Yeah.
And that's what ruins it for me. Even because, like you said, it is different when you're watching it like for enjoyment versus watching it for this. I feel like I feel less harshly about it watching it after, like from a critical eye, just because it is one of the better written ones of season 1. But the subject matter just really not for me.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah. When I was watching it, like I never even thought about this, but I was just like, not to be that person, but I would rather like be ghosted by a man or like have him end up evil than like be impregnated in a single day and have to like carry the baby out to term. Like
with no choice.
That would ruin me. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like, yeah, like be evil, try to kill me. That's better.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's the worst.
They even say the line in this that sex is just bad for everybody, right? Yeah. Angel will go evil. Cordelia gets pregnant. I've never seen Wesley have sex yet, so
I'm sure it's bad though.
I'm looking for it, right?
It's disturbing.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, I feel like because Angel agrees with her, and it's like, oh yeah, God, in this universe, all these people have like the worst sex stories. Yeah. Until like Buffy season 6, when it's like, okay, we can fuck a house down.
I'm so happy she just fucks a house down, right? And it just kind of they move along, right?
Yeah, she doesn't have to be fucking punished for it. It's like, yeah, they got to have like good rough sex. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean that's also what Cordelia said. Like before they even had a longer conversation about it, she was like, I'm being punished. I'm like, for what?
I know, right?
You didn't even do anything.
So this episode opens on Cordy's getting ready for her date. I do like, that feels like that like Twitter like joke meme. I mean, I use it all the time too, where it's like I'm going to put on my Joker makeup when she gets scared and she like, it's like, now I look like the Joker. I like that we learned that she's kind of bad at she's bad at like the secretarial stuff of the job. He's like, why is Benson under F?
Oh yeah,
she's like over France, right? She's French.
But like only she can remember those little things. Like nobody else knows her filing system,
right? Which honestly is smart from a perspective of trying to keep your job. Like you can't do it without me. How are you going to find anything?
It's like cleaning your house, right? It's like, don't pick up any of my stuff because I know exactly where I left everything. That's pair of pants over there in that corner.
Organized chaos.
Exactly.
I also like that we're still, like in my brain, I forget that Wesley's only been there for like 3 episodes, right? So they still have to do the like, he's popping in to like see what's up, and he's not like officially part of the gang yet. I don't remember actually what episode where he's like just part of the gang and they don't need to like have him popping in, but I know it eventually happens. But I do like that he's like, I don't, Zach, I'm curious what you think, because I know that you're a hard sell on Wesley. Like, are you charmed by this yet or no?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not on Team Wesley yet. I know a lot of people love him. A lot of people love his arc throughout the series, but I'm not there yet. We're on season 1. We're a couple episodes in, and we just did some Somnambulous, right? So
yeah.
It's he's fucking stand Wesley.
Penelope, where do you stand on Wesley?
I feel like these first episodes that he's in, he's so like doofy. Like he's just falling everywhere. He doesn't know how to use weapons for some reason. Like even though he's been fighting demons for, I would say, for like a year and a half. Right. Like I'm trying to like close the gap from Buffy to Angel in the time that he was like there. But I think at the end of this episode, they kind of do solidify that he's like a regular player, or at least Cordy does.
Right. Yeah.
My headcanon is that he has spent that time away from Buffy just like going through different weapons, trying to find like the one that feels right, but none of them feel right because he's a clumsy dude.
Oh my God.
I don't understand how he was assigned to Faith out of all of the Watchers that she could have got, right? They gave her and Buffy to Weslly. It just makes no sense because he's a doofus. He's doofy.
He was head boy though.
Yeah.
Everything about him seems like it screams wrong. You know, like this person shouldn't be fighting demons. They should be in an office in the back doing accounting or something. Like
an office in the back.
That's like not near people because he doesn't have great communication qualities.
No. And I do love that, like, when Cordelia's friends arrive, that they kind of like do hit on him, and he's immediately even doofier, and like the axe, he's like, oh, this thing, and then he gets like stuck on the fucking wall.
Yeah.
And then they name drop the guy, and he's like, the ethnoarchaeologist from Brandeis, and they're like, no,
like a nerd. Like he can't even stop himself from like doing these things. Like that's just his personality.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, I am charmed, but I think I'm charmed because of I know where he goes. Like I know his character development, so I can like, it is a little much sometimes when he like you said, Penelope, he like falls over a lot, and it's like, all right, relax with the falling. But I'm like just charmed because I'm like, oh, I know where he goes, and I do end up loving him so much by the end.
Yeah,
but
I think it makes a little bit of sense because they are also trying to fill in the gaps for people who didn't watch Buffy, and so they have to give us a couple of episodes of that Wesley.
That's true. Yeah.
And they probably didn't want it to last too long, so they were like, let's just exaggerate it and make the point.
Yeah, like streamline.
So that we can move on.
Yeah. Side note, did anyone here watch Happy Endings?
No.
Okay, it's one of my favorite like silly sitcoms. There's like a full episode where the two of the main women, like they're in a dress shop, and these like mean high school girls come in and they start drinking, and they're like, we have to stop this. Like these girls are like underage and they're drinking, and then the like girls are very much like these friends, because then they're like, oh my God, that outfit's so hot. And then like these adults are immediately like falling for the teens like compliments. And that's what Wesley feels like here to me when they're like, that Hugh Grant thing. And he's like immediately like stumbling. And I do like these like hot mean girls kind of liking that he's a fucking nerd.
Yeah. Also Angel, both of them, they like thought they were both gay, and they were like still willing to hit on them.
Yeah. I love that. Just the ones like, oh, all the best ones are gay, and it's like they do like have their arms around each other at that moment.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that Angel's like, yeah, whatever. And even later when he's like, it adds an air of mystery, that's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like all vampires in Angel and Buffy are like kind of bisexual.
Right.
We love this conversation.
Yes.
I love when this
like
part
the same
comes
way
up.
that I feel about the vampires on True Blood. Like
Yes.
they
Oh my
100%
gosh.
their fangs are like rated E for everybody.
It is so sexy that way too. Just there is no sexuality when you're a vampire. Everything goes.
Yeah. Yeah, Penelope, Zach, and I talk about this all the fucking time. Because, right, like, all those vampires were fucking.
Yes.
Yeah, they were. Like, I know Angel made out with a guy to get his blood. I know he did. In my head, he did.
Angel's had his ass ate a couple times. I know it.
Right. So we get the girls and Cordelia leave, or before they leave, Cordelia falls over. And I was charmed by them. Like, that's why they put their arms around each other, because they're trying to hide that she's like having a vision. Mm-hmm. She like quickly describes it to them, but then still goes on her date, which I love. Like, she's still like her.
You're glossing over the fall a little too quickly. Like, she fell. Like, that was hard fall, and they all acted like it was just, oh, okay, she does that sometimes. I do love Angel that he's now gone into the sort of goofy cover-up mode where he just like, oh, she lost a tic tac on the floor, something stupid like that.
She dropped all these files and they're scattered all over the ground, and she has to spend 5 minutes down there.
Oh, Cordelia, so goofy.
She has to aggressively fall on the ground to pick them up. I feel like David Boreanaz has more fun when he has to either be jealous or do something like silly like that.
Yeah.
He gets like a smile on his face, and like, I mean, Zach and I have talked about this as well. Like, season 1 Angel was like really fucking hot. And when he gets that like silly, goofy, cocky grin, I'm like, yeah.
I like him goofy instead of fucking brooding all the time.
Yes.
Just like always just end of the world. But when he's very attractive to me in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure David Boreanaz got really bored with the brooding.
Yeah.
So he like revels in any moment he can do anything else.
Yeah. So then she describes their the vision to them in a quick manner, goes out. I did like Wesley breaking down the door to the wrong house and it being this like old couple and him being like, where are the demons? Blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, what?
Was he yelling at this older lady about her eggs?
These people give no fucks.
I know.
They're like, we're trying to watch our show. Would you please fucking leave?
Our stories are on, sir. So, and then post credits, they killed the demon. They're kind of the only thread that like not the only, the thing that bothered me about Wesley this episode. I don't love how much he's like, Cordelia shouldn't be going out, blah, 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 blah. Like, right.
Like, she's not a fucking slayer. This is her day job. Back the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, he's still like being a little bit of a weirdo. And then Angel was like, I think those girls thought you were cute. And he was like, oh, then never mind.
Yeah.
She can do whatever she wants with her friends. I'm like, I don't even know what doxy means in his terms, right. But like, Wesley, relax.
Yeah, but I appreciate that Angel's the one, like you said, Zach, he is very attractive in this episode because he's a little more easy breezy and then he's protective. And I'm like, ooh, I like both these aspects.
Yeah.
Because he's very like, yeah, she can go out. That's fine. And like to Angel, like, even though he did have to talk to her in the beginning, it was just like, oh yeah, I had to talk to her. Like, he's not harping on it. And Wesley's the one that's like harping on it.
Yeah.
Angel, who is the boss, is like whatever about it. So like,
well, because it's we're in this really dangerous world, right? It's a really, really bad world. We all understand that it's okay to show concern for each other, but she's an adult who you have to trust her,
right? Making
her own decisions, you know. And so, and I think I like that we see that at the beginning, and we also see that at the end when she tells them like, "Hey, I'm gonna be fine," right? We might get tripped up by a demon from time to time, but like, trust me and that I'm a grown up and I know how to take care of myself.
Yeah. And then we cut to Cordelia's like night out. I still like, Ken Marino as the like dude is so goofy because like I have trouble taking him seriously. Like, I love Veronica Mars, and he plays like the goofiest fucking detective on Veronica Mars. Yeah. I think of, when I see him, all I think of him is that I don't think it's his first episode. It's one of his other ones. I think when he's like singing that song to her out the window.
Yes.
I forget. It's like that weird 80s song.
He's so goofy, and it's weird to see him
not
be so creepy.
Yeah.
In a different way, because he is also kind of creepy.
Right. Yeah. Especially in Veronica Mars, he was like a creep, but like he would still help her when she like really needed it.
Yeah, he did the right thing.
Yeah. So that's just like what I think of him as.
And he gives me major like Parker energy in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
She's like totally pandering so that she is like hanging on everything he's saying just so he can get her back home.
It's horrible.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And I'm Emily. I'm the one that's like, I'm bored.
When I saw her do that, I was just like, that's so mean. And I would have laughed.
Because all the men in this scene and this club, all the men are creepy. Every single one of them.
They're so creepy. The bartender.
Yes. Starting with the bartender and then literally everyone else. Every man in that shot. I was like, creep, 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 creep. Okay.
And one of the girls even says that, right? She even remarks that it's this city. This is how the people are in this city.
Yeah. And also those guys are so like they're styled and they're like whatever is so early 2000s. Cordy is like telling him about her high school experience. I do like that she even says like her position in high school was maybe a tad shallow, and like she's kind of like I don't know, for me like that's like part of her change where she's still Cordelia but like she can own up, right? Like
she's growing.
Yeah.
She sees who she used to be and why she needs to change, and she's actively making those changes.
Yeah. Fave. Yeah, and even when he's like being charming with her, I'm still just like, what a doof.
It's heartbreaking for me to watch because she's like all badly and nervous, and I know where it's going, and I'm like, no.
I know.
Don't do
it. So she asked him to come home with her. And I fucking love Phantom Dennis so much.
Yes.
Same.
This is my favorite Phantom Dennis episode.
And I love that. I mean, granted here, like it makes sense. She doesn't know him that well, but I love that anytime this shit happens, it's because he is literally trying to like protect her.
Yeah, he's always like protecting her. And like later on, we see how devoted he is to Cordelia, which also makes me sad. But yeah, like I love that he's just like trying to warn her about this guy. And she's just like, he's being jealous. He's a jealous ghost.
She says, let me fuck. Everybody, let me fuck. Please.
Three men, one ghost. I mean, it's like one of them is a ghost and they're all cock blocking her.
Even the dead guy in the wall is cock blocking her.
It's horrible. I mean, if the guy was better, then whatever, but he was just like, that like fake deep I'm so nice and everybody else is different talk that he gave her. I was just like, don't fall for it. And I feel like if Angel would have met him, he would have been able to see through.
Yes.
Yeah, but she's got to make her own, her own mistakes,
true.
right?
It's true. I think that's what it gets down to.
Yeah, when he corners her or not corners her, but when he comes on to her in the kitchen, I got a little bit of fanny flutters. I'd be like, you can do that to me.
I'll carry your demon, baby.
I'm feeling this moment right here. And then they have that very. This was very of the time, right? The sex scene of the time.
Oh my god!
Slow-mo, the music, it's just we can't just show people fucking.
Just the upper back.
The like sun setting. Yeah. It was like very like I feel like a lot of shows at the time. That's exactly how the sex scenes went.
That was like the model everybody used.
Yeah. And so she wakes up and realizes she's about to be late for work and sits up. And Zachary, what does she find out?
She is pregnant. Oh my goodness. And then we cut to commercial and we come back and Angel breaks down her door. And I did not realize that. She did not call Angel. Angel just couldn't stand that she was out all night with a man. And so he comes busting the door.
She didn't come to work. It had been 2 hours since she had woken up. So she was now 2 hours late for work and they hadn't heard from her. And he says he called and the phone couldn't get her on the phone. So he was worried.
He's worried, but breaking her door down.
We just talked about what a dangerous world this is, Zach.
My goodness.
Zachary.
Dennis would have opened the door for him.
That's true.
It's true. He probably would have opened the door, but I think he was just doing the same thing. Like he didn't want them to see Cordelia like that. So he was just like, the door is locked and she's not home.
Do you think Dennis was just like, just giving her some like headache medication or like morning sickness meds and giving her water and tea and coffee.
Probably. He's so sweet. And the thing is, I do like that Angel's worried about her, and that we even get Wesley again being annoying, where he's like, well, that does seem very like her. She was going out. And it's like, dude, fuck off with that shit. Like,
but then once they see her, their demeanors change instantly, and they're both so gentle and careful, and I love it.
Yeah, I did really like, and it like hurt my feelings seeing Cordelia so low, right? This season especially, we often see her so low, and like, this is just like such a fucking awful thing to happen that I'm like, and Charisma Carpenter does like a good job of like a depressed, like upset Cordelia, where like, you know, when she was like, I forget what she says. She even makes like a little bit of a joke, but no one laughs because like,
that was when she's like, what should I do? Call him and tell him I had a great night. You left something at my place.
Right. Yeah. And I do this. I mean, you mentioned this before, Penelope, this scene, I was like, fuck, their chemistry is so good because he is so immediately sweet with her when like, you know, he's like, you're not alone. We're going to fix this. And like, she has to be left alone. They don't leave her apartment, but they're like, let's go in the living room, and they like devise a plan. And I do like how immediately, like, I don't know, like Wesley was being shitty, but then he does change his demeanor. No one's like being shitty with her. They're very much like, ooh, this is bad. We will help.
But they're not panicking either, right? Yes. They're not like scaring her even more, which is really nice. You have to imagine Angel has probably seen something like this before anyway.
He's seen some shit. And then I mean, Penelope, you mentioned it too, like when she has to be left alone and then Phantom Dennis brings over the tissues. I was like, oh, this is so sweet.
This scene is really hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
Just like she's been completely violated by someone that she built up a trust with. And it's just really devastating to watch.
Right. Because it wasn't their first date. This was a guy that she
had third date.
Yeah.
They had already been seeing each other.
Yeah.
And he seemed like nice enough.
Right.
But I don't know, like his friend seemed like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't seem like she spent much time with his friends.
Right. Yeah. So they kind of devise a plan. Angel's going to find Ken Marino. Wesley's going to take her to the doctor to get an ultrasound. And like, I don't know. I like when they're this way with Cordelia because sometimes they do talk down to her and I don't love that. But the like protectiveness and like taking it seriously, but like Zach said, not upsetting her more by panicking. Because even Wesley, like Angel, you're right, probably has seen some shit like this before, but Wesley.
I was worried about Wesley when I was watching it. I was worried that he was going to do some like shriek and faint a little bit, you know.
Shriek and faint.
I feel like that's an accurate Wesley description.
He does. And when he saw when Willow, what is it, doppelgangland?
Yeah.
When he sees other Willow, he like actually screams so loud. Like, how are you so scared?
Yeah, like you were a watcher. Like
this is your job.
Yeah.
So then we get Angel is like talking to the bartender because he wants to find out. And I like found myself getting emotional when he was like, "Are you the boyfriend?" He was like, "No, I'm family." I was
family.
like, "Family." Right. Zach, a counterpoint.
A counterpoint. No. Okay. Yeah. Go with it.
And I do like that when she's in. So basically the bartender says, like, kind of misleads him saying Serena's in charge of everything, one of her friends. So he was like, wants to go visit her. We cut to Wes and Cordelia. I do love the woman in the waiting room, like yapping at her and her saying, "Shut up, don't touch me."
But this is accurate. This is what these waiting rooms are like. Don't touch people.
Yeah. I already, as a man who will never have to be pregnant, I already don't like touching. I don't want people touching me. I could not imagine having a baby bump attached to me that just somehow magically reads like that gives people a license to touch me, right? Like, I don't understand why a baby bump just automatically means that.
Yeah, you wouldn't go up to any other stranger and touch their stomach.
It's weird.
Like,
it's so weird, man. And how did that get like baked into society? I want to know like the history behind that, because where did that even start? Like which housewife decided to just start touching all of the baby bumps and let that become a thing?
But I do love her just like shouting at this woman. I also feel like that's me on Twitter. Like when some people are replying, I'm like, just shut up. They go into the exam room, and I do like that we kind of see Cordelia is like not like fully possessed, but she's starting to be a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like she's like being mean to the doctor, but also worried about the babies. They do the ultrasound and they like keep counting heartbeats. They're like, oh, that's one. Oh, there's two. Oh, there's five. So what is it, draw
They're
fluid?
getting a sample of the amniotic fluid, and he's like, there's a 0.5% you'll miscarry. She's like, I'll take it. And I was like, yes, take it. Take the chance. And then it's like acidic. It fully disintegrates the vial. And the nurse is like, fuck this. I'm out. She literally takes off running out the door.
Which, like, fair.
Yeah.
So they drop the fluid and like melts through the floor. But the last thing Cordelia asks, she like is in a panic and she asks if they look healthy. And that's when we kind of notice there's like a switch happening, right?
Yeah.
And then we cut to Angel, and he's gone to see Serena. And Zach, I don't know if you felt this way, but this felt very horror movie reveal to me.
Well, yeah, her like talking to a brick wall, like a fireplace. Of course it did. Yes. And she's like, I bet I know what you're thinking. That's not good for the baby, or whatever the hell she says. She like turns around and we got the big bump reveal while she's waiting on alcohol to be delivered.
Which is the year 2000. Could you get alcohol delivered?
I was not drinking in the year 2000.
Me either.
Ian, what was it like?
I was also a teenager. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was LA. You probably could.
That's true. But also, this would be me, like, after I got done like screaming and running around, because I think Cordelia, she handled it pretty well initially, just laying in bed crying.
That's a different kind of morning skinny to wake up to, and she handled it real well.
Oh, God. Especially as someone who's actively been very vocal about never wanting children. Like I literally work in birth control. Like this is something that I would never want. I would have lost my mind, and I definitely would have ran around screaming, and then I would have started drinking for sure.
Same.
Straight to the liquor cabinet, because it's traumatic too. Like the steps they go through to figure out, like, well, first she wakes up with this bump, then they go to the doctor, figure out it's 7 kids, then the fluid's acidic. Like, how traumatic it's less than 12 hours.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. Angel has this conversation with Serena, and I just kept thinking like this would be a cool scene in like a horror movie. I do like the scene, and we learned that she wasn't really she was just kind of like the head of like the group with Cordelia, but not really. She says, what does she say? The guy's money smelled, which is
it's like really smelled, she said, which never ties in, does it?
No, right? It really does not. I was like, the hell does that have to do with anything? But
is it because it's demon money? Like, I don't understand.
Like, I guess she basically tells Angel that like there's like the group of guys, blah blah blah, and they're the reason this happened. But we don't. At this point, Angel kind of thinks that they're demons, right? Which is understandable.
And this is when she says, I think Zach, you're the one that said. She says like, you know how this town is. You just stop asking questions.
Right.
And therein lies the point. Never stop asking questions.
Right.
Always question everything.
So she starts to have a contraction, and then we see that Cordelia is also having one. Wes is bringing her back to Angel's like room. We find out that she has 7 babies in her, and she says that she notices Wesley's afraid of her, right?
Yeah.
And I love that when Angel gets there, I feel like this is a very iconic scene too, where she's like downing the container of blood.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's just like dripping down her face.
Yeah.
And you can like hear her gulping it.
Yeah. Angel is just disgusted. And he's like, it's like, is this what people think of me?
So, do you know, I've never really realized how gross that is.
He says, Wesley, get her a pizza right now. Just get her a pizza.
But also we skipped over the scene where her and Wesley are talking, and she's like, do you think that they're going to be okay? Like maybe they're good demons. Like Angel's not human and he's okay. Right. And like, I know that they're like slowly brainwashing her, but it's also Cordelia who is a natural caretaker. So it makes sense that part of her would also be like, I don't know, like, what if they are good? Like, should we just keep them? Like, how can we get out of this without harming something that's good?
Yeah.
Well, they have to be tapping into her instincts anyway. And I feel like over an actual 9-month time, she would have probably come to something like that because she is such a natural caretaker. Because then the way the other woman is handling it, you know, she's actively trying to drink the baby out of her, you know, so that must be that woman's natural instinct, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So then, I do love that Angel's grossed out by it. And I love that she just wipes the blood, like that's on her face, on her sleeve, and just is like, I was hungry. Like, that's it.
And Angel like kind of gags a little bit.
See, I really feel like he got to have fun this episode. Like,
shit
like that. Then we cut to a shooting range where Ken Marino is practicing his aim. And I also really like cocky, confident Angel.
Yeah.
To quote Zachary, that gives me the fanny flutters when he's all like super confident.
So good. I love it. And just a couple scenes later when he goes full vamp face on all those men, I've lots of fanny flutters for Angel in this episode.
I love seeing him be that like super fucking confident, and like how Ken Marino's kind of like they don't know Angel's a demon, so he's like, I don't care about this guy, so he like goes to fight him, but Angel like immediately kicks his ass. He like aims a gun at him. Angel disarms him. And then even later, like he does shoot him, and Angel's just like, oh, I hate being shot. And then kicks all their asses.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think he holds back when he fights humans knowing that they're human? Because they give him a better fight than they should have. And I'm like, he could have given them so much head trauma if he had just punched them full force.
You know, I think about that in both these shows, because sometimes on Buffy, it's like, people give like her and Faith, like, you know, and it's like, couldn't they just like completely knock them all out with one punch?
Right.
So I feel like it could be both. Maybe when they're fighting humans, or it's just like, you know, the plot calls for a fight scene.
Sometimes it's just the dramatics of it all.
Yeah.
Right. A long fight and they have to drag it out. Because I feel like Angel knows that he could probably kill them.
Yeah.
Too. Like he could just easily snap everybody's neck, but he chooses not to.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
He is because he does even say, oh, you're not even a demon. Like he's surprised that they're just like guys.
Yeah.
I forget. What do they say? I forget what the thing is that how they impregnated them. Is it the like men have it inside of them, or they're like,
they're like a host.
Okay. So it is like something inside of them that
I was so confused.
I think it's like magical, right? So they're like magically bonded to this demon that's giving
Isn't
them riches and stuff.
So strange that you can clearly tell this episode was written by a dude, right? Because we have all of these, we have a whole scene where basically Angel and Wesley are explaining a demonic pregnancy with a magical umbilical cord and everything, right? But they won't give us the information on how these men, how they have, I don't know, whatever goes into their testicles to be able to impregnate women with demon babies. You know, we don't ever get any of the scientifics of the men, but we get it of Cordelia and her demon babies.
Yeah, we need the magical like logistics that happened here.
Yeah, like is that demon fucking them in the ass?
Give us all of the details to put it.
It's weird because like Angel does kind of explain it. He says that they're imbued somehow with his seed, and I'm like, how
exactly?
Right.
How are you guys imbued with the seed? Like, do you guys like what's the process?
Those bros are like, no homo, but put your seed in me, demon.
For real.
But they would never show us men being violated that way, right?
Right. Yeah. No. I feel like they'd be like you said, Ashley. They'd just be like, "Oh, we did a magic. There's no gay,
no gay."
They say, "What kind of magic? You know, just the magic,
heterosexual magic."
Yeah. Now I can go get the ladies.
Yeah. Now I can go have sex with a woman and be very straight. God, where the hell are we? Zachary, where are we in the episode?
Where are we? Let's go to my notes. I'm gonna look at it and see where we are. Did we go into the fight?
Yeah, kind of.
They start, but now we cut back to Wesley figuring out which demon it is and Cordelia knocking him out.
Right. He finds out it's the Haxel demon, and now Cordy's basically like full on possessed, and she like takes the book and knocks Wesley out. She hits him pretty hard too, twice with that big book, and then like throws it on him.
Yeah.
And then, you're right. Then we cut back to Angel. I love like watching him flip those dudes over like through the glass at the gun range. I'm just like, I'm so into this.
Yeah.
And then he puts his foot on Wilson's face.
Yes.
And I screamed, germs! So many germs.
That's what bothered you.
Yeah, that was her biggest note in the episode. Okay. Went on for a couple lines.
And we like, then we get like Wes and Angel. I like that both of them have been like, they're both like out of breath because Angel had the fight and Wes was just waking up from being knocked out. But they like both kind of have the same conclusion, right? Like Angel's already figured it out. Wes has figured it out. The only thing different is like Wes is able to say, like you said, Zach, the psychic umbilical cord, which like, sure. And that the name of the demon is Haxel. I like that he says, Wes, can you shoot Trait? And he's like, beg your pardon? Because, well, we'll get there. Whatever. We learned that all the women are like walking towards this, what is he called? Like the shrine built to the Haxel demon or whatever, right? And this also feels very horror movie, right?
Yeah. And the white.
Yeah. The white feels like very Rosemary's Baby.
I got strong Rosemary Baby vibes throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, which is good because the photo I took for this cover is very Rosemary's Baby. But like, I don't know. Penelope, how do you feel? How do you feel about all that?
I feel like the white dresses is very, I don't know, it is very horror movie-esque. Especially them like all going into the water together. That girl that was bored is in that group too. So they the guys must have rounded her up for a date and like brought her in, you know? So that's also scary to me.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I keep thinking about that water and how there's obviously been like demon baby births. In that water, like over and over again, and how gross it is.
They're not cleaning it.
Yeah, no. And Wesley doesn't Wesley say how it smells bad or something?
Yeah,
he says it smells bad. Don't make me get it.
Yeah,
but I will. But I don't want to.
It also made me feel very much like I was at church about to watch like the baptism ceremonies where everybody like gets in a line and they all do it in the tub at the front of the church.
Oh my God. Ashley, wait, what kind of church was that?
Southern Baptist.
Yes. Cause I was friends with a guy in high school who was like a few years older and very nice. And he like, I couldn't remember what the religion was, but he did one of those things, but I don't think it's like that so I had only gone to Catholic church as a kid and it's not common to have like, you know, the tub on the altar, but like
we got like, did you get sprinkled? I just got sprinkled.
Yeah.
They didn't try to fucking drown me.
I never got baptized, but I went to many baptisms.
Wait, really? With how religious your family is?
Yeah. They were at least like, well, when you're ready, you'll know. And that's my dad didn't get baptized. And I remember going to his baptism.
Hispanics are like, that baby pops out, it's getting baptized.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was too small. I don't remember, but I know it happened.
They pierce your ears and give the baptism.
Exactly.
So I do like that they had a plan. So like Wesley's kind of stalling and he's like, first he's trying to get them out, but then he like tells this ridiculous looking demon.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Yes, I want to like Buffy and Angel, especially like early on, had rough budgets. Angel sometimes looks like it had more of a budget, but like then this, it's like, ooh, why did they even
try?
Right?
The demon was the face.
Yes.
Yeah, the mouth.
Like what was that?
I couldn't. I was just laughing the entire time. It's like, you are not scary.
Yeah.
It changes size. You can tell when they're filming right at the foot to make it look massive. But then when they like freeze it, it's tiny little demon.
Yeah. It really depends on like what angle they're shooting from, that like how big it looks. I just don't know why they bothered with a giant, because that makes it worse. It makes it sillier.
Yeah.
They figured that out during filming. There's somebody on that set that was like, this is not working. And somebody else just like, go with it. We're almost done with the week.
We're already there. Just
on with it. Just keep going.
I love that Wesley's like, I'm Wesley Wyndham Price, rogue demon hunter, and I'm here to fight you to the death.
Gosh.
Especially him saying that to this thing that's like 4 times his size.
Right. And so confident after we just saw him like so clumsy the entire time.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
because he knows that Angel's coming, obviously, but it's just funny to see him with his like false arrogance.
It's him opposite ridiculous demon saying, "You're here for my babies." And it's just the whole thing's ridiculous.
So then we find out that the reason he asked Wesley if he could shoot was because Angel comes in with a fucking liquid nitrogen tank.
Which, like, where did he even get that?
Right?
Solid.
And then I love the way he throws it and the demon catches it. Or it just like holds on to it. And then Wesley shoots it. And I do have a question, because I think they kind of explained this, but I missed it. Are they, and this is also kind of like gross to think about, because like, so as soon as it like gets frozen, the Cordy and the girls all start screaming and their bellies start going down.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that shit is like shooting out of them, or
this is again, right? Definitely written by a man because a man does not want to know the details of how the women lose the baby bump, right? They
Right.
just decide that the baby bump is gone. And so we just get something below frame, whether it just magically disappears or they give birth into that fluid. It just, they're not going to tell us because that's not details they want to tell us.
Because they were minutes away from delivery.
right?
Yes.
Right. And I was like, oh, are all those like demons like gooping out
No.
of them?
How many were there too? Because it was 7 times how many women?
God.
Do some math.
Like
Oof.
5. Was
Yeah.
there 5 of them?
Like 35 of them in there.
Oof.
Too many.
Yeah, too many.
Why is there that many? Like, and they do it a lot. Like, these
Yeah.
guys get girls pregnant all the time. I'm like, why so many demon babies? And where do the demon babies go? Like, we don't.
Right. Yes. Because theoretically, there probably is a lot that were born before, right? And
Right.
like
Yeah.
walk
Do you think
around.
he came out to fight them and he was like, I just did all the laundry and I haven't even cooked dinner yet. And I've got 4,700 babies at home. I don't have time for this shit.
Either that or 1 out of every 35 survives. And so he's just up in those chances.
Wait, the demons they kill earlier in the are those? No, they're not the babies from this, right? Or not the
No.
babies from
No.
another. No, right? Because those are in eggs, right?
The demons they kill earlier were innocent bystanders who just happened to appear in a vision and weren't doing anything wrong.
They're just hanging out in their
We're
eggs.
just hatching.
So yeah, they pretty easily defeat this demon. I do like that Cordelia gets the last
As
Like-
she should.
right. Like she went through some shit. Let her be the one to fucking kill this demon. And I like that she doesn't give like she just walks right up, picks up that whatever you call it and swings it at him and shatters him.
She doesn't have to say anything because her face says it all.
Yeah.
Charisma.
She's so good. She's like, I hate dating.
What is everybody else going to feel, right? Because we know Cordelia is from this world. And so she understands it.
Right.
And she's already kind of written to kind of get over it by the next episode. But like, there are other women in this little pool who are like, I was just pregnant and lost my babies, 7 babies in a day. And there was a monster and he froze. And Cordelia's throwing things. And there's a British man. I don't understand anything that's happening here. And now I just have to go home.
And Serena's like, everybody come to my house. I just got a shipment from the liquor store.
She did. She said, I'm stocked, guys. Come on. Come over here.
God. Yeah, I feel like y'all would have to hear me talking about this for a long time.
Oh, gosh. Don't ever do this to Ian, y'all. I don't want to hear it.
Zach can't emotionally handle that. But I do. Penelope, I'm curious. Penelope and Ashley, both of you, I'm curious. Do you like that Cordelia is like pretty much okay with it the next day?
I don't know if she's completely okay with it.
Fair.
I also found it strange that she never contacted the other women that were in the tub.
Right? Yeah.
No, I think even just to like ask them how they were doing or anything like that. So it seemed like they were all kind of dealing with their own trauma on their own, especially Cordelia, obviously, because she doesn't like, she loves Angel and Wesley and trusts them and everything, but I don't know if she feels like she can have a conversation with them about that.
Right. That's
That's a really good point, actually.
yeah.
And
that
like
is.
also like Cordelia is very much like a strong force who like she's very independent, like she doesn't want to lean on other people. So I feel like, and she
That's
comes in
also
and
true.
immediately fucks with them, right? And so like as someone who deals with shit with humor, I relate to that too. She's like, I'm just gonna make it funny and we can move on, and then I can drown myself in work and deal with this emotionally later.
I do like that she does immediately like give them shit when she's like, oh, I just have to, have his demon seed put in me. And they're like, what? She's like, it's fine. I will be fine. I do like when she's like, what I learned is, and then she's like, no, not that. No, not that. And she says like, sex is bad. And Angel's like, we all knew that. And then
again, I'm just
I know.
like,
I love
so many
that
times
line,
they
though.
repeat this.
It's so
These
funny.
shows, you just can't have sex.
That's the point right there. You just can't have sex in these shows, and it's just so funny. That Cordelia and Angel like bond on that level.
They're both having like terrible sexual experiences.
Yes.
But I do love when she says that she has like two friends who will stand by her no matter what. And fucking Wesley being like, I have some allergies because he's like crying.
Yeah.
That would be me.
And he turns his head away.
Yeah.
Crying.
What season does Fred come in?
The end of 2.
The end of 2. Is she and Cordelia friends? Like good friends?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Okay, so Cordelia gets a good gal pal, right? She doesn't have to just be surrounded by these men all the time, right?
Yeah, like they don't become Fred's intro is a little weird. And then like it's the end of season 2, and then season 3, it's like Fred kind of finding her spot in the group, and eventually her and Cordy are like, yeah, they become like good gal pals.
Yeah, because Penelope, what you said is like really sticking with me now that like she just comes in and this is how she's dealing with it, but this is how she has to deal with it because who else is she going to freaking talk to about this, right? And that's kind of sad. That's really sad, actually.
Yeah. But also when Wesley cries, going back to your earlier point, Penelope, I love the looks Cordelia and Angel give each other. I was like, my heart, I love them. I just like, their chemistry is so good, even here in season 1, when it's just like they're supposed to just be good friends. They have such good chemistry.
I mean, they had good chemistry in Buffy, which is just, it lent to Buffy's jealousy of Cordelia.
Right. Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I'd be jealous too. Look at her.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we're at the end, favorite scene, Ashley?
My favorite scene is her chugging the blood and how horrified Angel looks.
Penelope?
That was also my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have another one for this episode.
You can pick. You could. We allow repeats. That's fine. Zachary.
The rest of it's real dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go with that. Either that or when she first arrives at the house and Dennis is kind of like trying to cockblock her. I think that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think my favorite is the end. I just love.
I knew it. I knew you were going to go with the emotional beat.
Of course, Ian loves an emotion. And this is going to be a weird question because we're all going to pick the same thing. Favorite outfit, Zachary.
We should all just say it on 3. It's the overalls. I love the overalls.
For sure.
Yeah.
Messy hair.
Penelope, do you have a different pick, or would that be your pick too?
Oh, I like the outfit she was wearing to the club.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Yeah, I just love the bandana look. It's so cute. Like a shirt as a bandana.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
It's funny. We talk a lot about because her fashion, especially in Angel, is very early 2000s. But like, it looks good on her, doesn't it?
She makes it all work.
Yeah. Although I feel like she probably would look good in anything, but
True.
That early
gorgeous.
Yeah, that early 2000s fashion, I like do not have love for it because I lived through it. But like on her, I'm like, it does look cute. Like, what grade do we give this episode, Penelope?
I feel like I'm gonna give it a B-.
That's fair. Okay. Ashley.
I'm giving it a C because it's fucked up.
Fair. Zachary?
I still enjoy a Cordy episode, so I'll go with B-. I'm going to go with
okay.
B-. I've enjoyed the Cordy, that it's a Cordy episode.
I think, I go with, I'm not sure if I'm a B or a B-. But yeah, there's been so many clunkers that even this one that is like fucked up, and I don't love a like mystical pregnancy as a plot ever. But like, I do agree with you, Zach. It's like, well, I still love Cordelia so much, and like, it feels better than a lot of the other shit. And I mean, I think I've commented on this a lot, but it does feel like the show knew a lot more what it was once Wesley was introduced. I don't quite understand why, because I do think Doyle worked, but it felt like the show was still finding its footing. But once Wesley was there, the show was like, okay, we know what we are more than we did previously. Like, not that these episodes are like the best, but it just feels like the writers are more confident once Wesley's there.
This one walked a fine line. I think if there had been a B plot that was taking us in and out of this mystical pregnancy plot, it could have quickly gone down to a D for me.
Really? Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
And I just want to point out real quick, Ian, this was supposed to be an episode full of women.
I know.
So the fact that I am just filling in last minute because I was available, but Ian did have this planned as an episode full of women.
Thank you for pointing that out.
I apologize for my presence.
I did try to make the pregnancy episode. I was going to be the first episode without me, but then literally none of the women that are co-hosts for the podcast could record before this needed to air. So therefore, Zachary and I are here.
Talking about pregnancies and all of the women things.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. And thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. If you want to support us on Patreon, that would be very much appreciated. We are finishing Harley Quinn season 2 this month. Then you're going to go to season 3. Still going through What If. If you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98 on all social media platforms. If you want to follow me, I am at IanXCarlos. Ashley, where can everyone find you?
I'm on Twitter at MythTaken314, and I'm starting a Heartstopper podcast. So if you want to follow us, we are called Why Are We Like This? And all of our socials are Why Are We Cast.
And Penelope, where can everyone find you?
I'm on Twitter as PReedXXX and on Instagram as PennyBot5000.
And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.